So I'm going to do this. Hello everyone and welcome to Clothesline. My name is Owen and this is my first fantasy booking. First off, I gotta give mad props to Adam Balmpied, the man who revitalized and re-energized the whole concept of fantasy booking, even be it at World Culture or Cultaholic or wrestletalk or even his own channel right now, Parts Unknown if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the guy's a genius. He has a great creative mind. He has great booking decisions. However, I just saw his last booking, the whole Shinsuke Nakamura booking, and I gotta say it was good, but I truly believe I can do it better. Better, different. I don't like to say better because I don't think I'm better than anyone when it comes to fantasy booking. Everybody has their own decisions and their own creative minds, but there were some decisions in his booking decisions in that fantasy booking that I just couldn't agree with. But it's okay to agree and disagree. But when it comes to Shinsuke Nakamura, I really think I can do it a little bit better. So here's my pitch for how I would book Shinsuke Nakamura on the main roster. Okay, so we got to do it chronologically. So he debuted on the main roster the night after WrestleMania 33, actually a couple of nights later on SmackDown, and his first opponent was Dolph Ziggler, right? So yeah, I would change that, and I completely agree with Adam's decision to put Sami Zayn as part of his first rivalry on the main brand. On SmackDown. Yeah, his first rivalry on SmackDown has to be Sami Zayn, and they can recreate the magic that they had back on TakeOver Dallas. I think it's a very good booking decision. Okay, here's my first change in the booking. I would keep the Intercontinental Championship on SmackDown and the United States Championship on Raw. Bear with me. Then I would still have Dean Ambrose move over to Raw, but he would lose the Intercontinental Championship to Baron Corbin. Because you can still have the whole Shield reunion. You can still move Dean Ambrose to Raw. You can have a feud for the United States Championship with The Miz if you want to. But there's no actual reason between switching the titles of the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship. There's no reason. So Nakamura beat Sami Zayn in his first rivalry on the Backlash pay-per-view. You move on to Money in the Bank. You had that Money in the Bank special moment where Shinsuke and AJ Styles cross eyes, and they have nothing more than that. As for the Money in the Bank briefcase winner, it could still be Corbin. I don't really care because he would still lose, as history showed us. He would lose his Money in the Bank briefcase to Jinder Mahal because of interference with John Cena, and those two can still have their match at SummerSlam. But before SummerSlam, there's another SmackDown pay-per-view. It's called Battleground. There, Shinsuke Nakamura beats Baron Corbin for the Intercontinental Championship. And you can continue to build Shinsuke Nakamura from there. He had a great feud with Sami Zayn, and now he's the Intercontinental Champion, and he's ready to put that championship to work, just like he elevated that Intercontinental Championship's version in New Japan. Seriously, if you look at the Intercontinental Championship version of New Japan Pro Wrestling, that title is almost equivalent to the World Championship. And Shinsuke can do the same here with the correct booking. So he wins the Intercontinental Championship from there. He starts defending it on various SmackDowns against various opponents. It could be Rusev. It could be Kofi. It could be Kevin Owens. It could be anyone. Yes, even Dolph Ziggler. I don't got a problem with the guy. I think he's a great wrestler, and I think these two could have a good match. As for the translator concept, I would skip it because I don't think Nakamura speaking Japanese hurts him. Just look at the promos that Asuka and Io Shirai had back in NXT when they were speaking Japanese and had their translation at the bottom. It works. And when he does do interviews on SmackDown, he doesn't need to work. Just, a couple of words here and there because he does his talking in the ring. So, as Adam said, AJ Styles can win the championship at SummerSlam from Jinder Mahal. He will keep defending it until the end of the year, as Shinsuke Nakamura does the same with the Intercontinental Championship when they lock eyes again at Survivor Series. They each have their respect match. Of course, AJ Styles lost to Brock Lesnar. Shinsuke Nakamura can beat The Miz because now he's the United States Champion in my booking. One day removed after Survivor Series, Shinsuke Nakamura loses the Intercontinental Championship to Kevin Owens. Yeah, that's right. See what I did there? Another twist. And that loss actually leads to Kevin Owens defending the Intercontinental Championship against Daniel Bryan because that's the title he had to forfeit when he had to retire. See? Full circle again. You can still have that stupid storyline where Kevin Owens is abusing Shane McMahon, and then Daniel Bryan comes out of retirement to confront Kevin Owens, and he wins the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 34. And then Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble 2018. He's on his way to WrestleMania. AJ Styles retained at the Royal Rumble against Kevin Owens. Champion versus champion. Why not? And then afterwards, he retains again in that six-way match against a bunch of competitors. Could be John Cena. Could be Baron Corbin. Dolph Ziggler. Doesn't matter. And then him and Nakamura cross eyes again. And from there, we just built on the history. Acknowledge the fact that they had one of the greatest matches in New Japan history. You don't even have to say the name, just say they had a match. Even though you do acknowledge New Japan from now and then. So yeah, you talk about their history. You talk about the fact that these two are preparing for the match of a lifetime. And then at WrestleMania 34, they deliver. You allow them to have the match everybody wanted them to have. Not a WWE style match. Let them recreate the magic that they had at Wrestle Kingdom 10. But at the end of the match, you can keep the same result. AJ Styles retains the WWE Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura, and then Shinsuke goes for the nays. Because I think a heel Nakamura actually works. It has something new, something fresh, something we haven't seen in a while after all the years he's been a face in New Japan and in NXT and now on SmackDown. So yeah, he gives him the low blow. They set up the rematch at Backlash, and in that rematch, Shinsuke Nakamura wins the championship as a heel. Again, I have no problem with that. And then he can just be a cocky heel, doesn't have to speak English, just does his job and can chasta everybody. And then you can try to elevate other people like Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode, for example, had 2 great matches against Nakamura back at TakeOver days. So yeah, they can have a rematch for the WWE Championship. Shinsuke can retain, but still you have still elevated Bobby Roode into that level of getting championship matches. So he beats Bobby Roode in Money in the Bank. He retains the title again in Extreme Rules, in a 5-way or a 4-way, whatever. Then he moves on to SummerSlam, and he needs a big contention. Who could it be? Yep, I gotta admit it, he's gotta beat John Cena again. Yeah, because John Cena is a money-making name. You want to make Shinsuke Nakamura one of the greatest of all time, he has to beat a big name, and no bigger name is bigger than John Cena. So yes, he beats John Cena for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, and he retains the title after that. And then Hell in a Cell. We can have a Hell in a Cell match between Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles, and because of the confines of a Hell in a Cell, I would even add Samoa Joe into the mix. So in Hell in a Cell, it's a triple threat match between Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, and Samoa Joe, which in the end, Shinsuke Nakamura still retains. And you want to build Shinsuke Nakamura as a credible champion. You don't want him to lose after 1 or 2 matches. I would actually have Shinsuke Nakamura retain that championship until Elimination Chamber. Then I take a couple of elements from reality. I can take Daniel Bryan, who is still a face, by the way, entering this matchup hoping to regain that WWE Championship. Those glory days he once had. And also you can have Kofi Kingston, who takes Mustafa Ali's spot in the match in the hopes that he might finally win that WWE Championship. Then it could come down to 3 man. It's Shinsuke Nakamura and Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston, which afterwards Shinsuke will be eliminated and Daniel Bryan will turn heel on Kofi, winning the championship. And then you can have Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston going at it for that WWE Championship at WrestleMania. As for Shinsuke Nakamura, after losing the WWE Championship, he needs a high caliber match for WrestleMania. And by this time, take your pick. You have a lot of qualified superstars for WrestleMania for Shinsuke to have a good match with. But if I have to choose one match, one guy you could have a great WrestleMania match with, it has to be Aleister Black. Because it was around that time that Aleister Black and Ricochet made the jump to Raw and SmackDown. They actually were on both shows. But they brought him up as a tag team. I would separate the two from the beginning. Had Aleister have his gimmick where he tells people, I want to fight someone, and have Shinsuke Nakamura fight Aleister Black at WrestleMania 35. He would have a tremendous match against Aleister at WrestleMania, and he would lose to Aleister Black. Because Shinsuke won the Intercontinental Championship. He won the Royal Rumble. He was the WWE Champion for almost 9 months. It's okay for him to lose this match against Aleister, even though it is WrestleMania. So that's how I would book Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, it's a little bit tweaks here and there from Adam's storyline, but I think it's a more coherent storyline as opposed to what Adam suggested. So this was my first attempt at fantasy booking. I would love to read your comments about this. Do you agree or disagree with my booking decisions? Let me know in the comments below. And also, if you want to stay notified and find out exactly when we're uploading these videos, hit the like button, subscribe button, and that bell notification button. And I'll see you next time on Clothesline.